Okay, guys. Well, we just had our 5.1 lecture and ran home. I'm doing 5.2 lecture for Tuesday, which will be the 23rd of March. Okay, so this is 5.2 lecture. As you guys see, projecting on 5.2 key terms: probability, Punnett square, phenotype, genotype, homozygous and heterozygous, and codominance. I kind of touched on codominance yet today during lecture for 5.1, but we're going to get into it further. All right, so here we go. All right. So probability is the number that describes how likely it is that a certain event will actually occur. So think about this. I know maybe some of your parents are like, I really want to win the lotto, but I probably don't have a chance to actually do it. Chance is very similar. So like they're saying a coin. If you flip it once, there's a 50-50 shot. But if you keep flipping it, you're going to have a mathematical problem on what the actual probability is of making it heads 10 times versus tails 10 times. Does that make sense? Okay. So here we go. The result of one coin toss does not affect the result of the next. They're independent. Each event occurs independently. Genetics, not always. Okay, so we'll skip the math. So when Mendel analyzed the results of the crossbred prints, he carefully counted all the offspring. Over time, he realized that he could apply the principles of probability to his crosses. Mendel was the first scientist to recognize that the principles of probability could be used to predict the results of the genetic crosses, hence the Punnett square. One thing that we covered today was there's roughly a 25% chance of the double recessive gene showing up, right? With two hybrids, same thing. So Punnett square, write this down, is a chart that shows all the possible combinations of the alleles that can result from the genetic cross. Okay, just use the top one. Okay, geneticists use the Punnett square to show all the possible outcomes of the genetic cross and determine the probability of a particular outcome. In the Punnett square, all the possible alleles from one parent are written across the top. The possible alleles from the other parent are written down the left side. The combination of the alleles in the box of the Punnett square represent all the possible combinations of the offspring. Okay, so does that make sense? The top is one parent, the side is the other parent, and anyone else in the center are the little ones. Okay, you have to write all of these, pause the video until you're done. In the genetic cross, the alleles that each parent will pass on is based on a probability. The two useful terms that the geneticists use to describe the organism are phenotype and genotype. An organism's phenotype is the physical appearance or visible traits. The genotype is the genetic makeup of the allele combinations. Okay, phenotype is physical, you can see it. Genotype, you can't see. An organism's phenotype is its physical appearance and visibility. I just said that. I told you to write it the last one. Hopefully you did. An organism's genotype is a genetic makeup. I said the same thing last time. Make sure you have it down. It's that important. This picture. Another version. Okay, another, see? Another version. Okay, you need to write both of these down. When an organism has two identical alleles of the trait, the organism is said to be homozygous for that trait. So double dominant or double recessive. In an organism that has two different alleles for the trait, it's said to be heterozygous. Okay, so a hybrid. Write those down. Pause the video when you're done, or pause the video until you're done. So in all of Mendel's crosses, only one form of the trait appeared in F1 generation. However, in the F2 generations, the lost form of the traits always reappeared in about a fourth of the plants. Hence, they were recessive. That's what we just said, right? They're all recessive. Okay, in an inheritance pattern called codominance, the alleles are neither dominant nor recessive. As a result, both alleles are expressed in the offspring. Codominant alleles are written as capital letters with subscripts to show that neither is recessive. Okay, so the subscripts are up top, okay, not bottom. So write all of those down. You have to write all of them down. Pause the video until you're done. There's another example. Another example. Another one. I'm sure you guys have seen all these types of birds before. Look at that tortoiseshell cat, so pretty. Calico cat. Look at that, guys. Pretty cool, huh? So another departure from Mendelian genetics arises when the phenotype of a characteristic depends on the environment as well as the genotype. Hydrangea flowers of the same genotype range from blue-violet to pink, depending on the soil's acidity. Okay, you don't need to write that down, but just think environmental factors do mess with organisms and they bring out certain traits. Guess what? We're all done already. Okay, I don't know, 8-minute lecture, not too bad. I did zip through a lot of those other slides, so take your time, go through them. It's really important that you kind of look at it during live lecture tomorrow. I'll get a little bit further in depth with some of these, but this is the gist. Okay. If you need to review this again and again and again until you got it. Okay. Take all those notes down. Anything that's bolded, take it down. Okay. Bye, guys.